So, hi, my name is Karl, and when people ask me what I'm doing, and I tell them I work for a robotics company, then usually they say, wow, cool, computer vision and everything. And then I have to disappoint them and say, we don't do computer vision. Why don't we do computer vision? Because, of course, with such a robot, it would be great to have cameras and know where it is and know where everything that it maybe wants to pick or where it wants to drive through is, or where the humans are in the factory. But in fact, our customers hate cameras in their operation area, in their shop floor, because apparently how their factories work is the best kept secret that enterprise users have. So that's why we have to come up with other solutions of how to know where the robot is and where it has to go. And I want to talk you through the evolution of what we tried and what we ended up doing, and maybe ask you for suggestions how to make it even smarter, how to make it better, maybe using AI. So these are one example of our robot. And as you can see, so that's roughly the size. This is a human here. And they are driving through factory halls and through warehouses. And originally, when we think about localization and a robot driving somewhere, then we think of maybe a task that you might have done at school, where you have a black strip of something on the floor and it just follows the black line. We tried that as well, but not for very long, because we noticed that when you drive over the line again and again, that the contrast between the line and the surrounding becomes very weak. So basically, you end up with a system of robots that running like ants in a circle in a death spiral, and they never get out of there again. Then what we tried next was a magnetic tape on the floor that worked somewhat well for some time. So you have a magnetic tape and you have RFID tags or magnetic, not magnetic, metallic tags on the floor to know which segment you're in. But the problem is there might be other magnetic things in the floor of the factory. Or also some forklift drivers might just run over your magnetic tape and then it's just gone, and then you have a problem. Then the next evolution was basically we have a scanner here, actually here, and it gives us a point cloud of the surrounding area. So the nice thing is that many permanent structures here, like this one, they don't move. So if we see them and if we can identify them from the point cloud, then we know pretty well where we are. But of course, the problem is many things are mobile, like shelves, for example. And so you have to understand which parts are mobile and which are not. And yes, in many scenarios you can't. Another thing is the odometry. You know where you started and how far you've driven. The problem is just not precise enough, because what you need to do eventually is drive underneath these, so there's not enough space, not enough slack that you can use. And you also want to, for example, approach an inductive charger very precisely, because otherwise you get intermittent charging, on and off charging, and you don't want that. And we've done some experiments with ultrasound and with beacons, like triangulation. And it turned out they were not very precise either. So our latest evolution is a grid code that we print on the floor, where we can see in a QR code exactly where we are. But of course, you can imagine, this brings us back to the start. So if someone has driven over it countless of times, then we have to change it. And then we have to print it exactly where it was. So it's not as easy as you would think. So currently, what we do in most of the projects is hybrid approaches between the point cloud and the magnetic tape. Particularly when we have to go somewhere very precise, where maybe no forklift driver can enter, then we do use the magnetic tape. But I think it would be cool if we could, for example, from that point cloud, figure out where certain structures are and identify which structures that are to find out where we are. And it's important to find out where we are because A, we need to know how we can get to the place we've been assigned to, and B, it's important that we go the same set of ways roughly every time, because in most of the factories, like this one, there are also humans in operation, and they hate it when the robots do unexpected things. So this is to be kept in mind with AI.